I'd like to tell you a story about a transformation that I had in my life, and that has to do with my health. When I was in high school, I used to play sports. When you play sports, you exercise a lot because when you exercise a lot, it builds endurance, you gain strength so that you can actually play those sports. So I used to play football, I ran track, I played soccer with my friends on the weekends. I played a lot of sports. I also exercised a lot as well. So during the year when we had off season, I would try to stay in shape so that when it became season time, I was ready to be able to play those sports. When you exercise, you obviously, you build endurance, you build strength, so that you can actually play those sports. And so it was an everyday thing for me. And with that, I always thought I was healthy. Even though at the time, my nutrition was probably not the best. I ate like a regular high schooler did. I ate a lot of fast food. I drank a lot of soda. I didn't drink a lot of water. Didn't care about fruits and vegetables, whole grains, just whatever I can get in my body quick and made sure it tasted decent. And so with that, I never actually had the nutrition portion of health down. When I got out of high school, I stopped playing sports. There wasn't anything that I could see that I could join, and so I stopped exercising altogether. Well, because I never learned that nutrition portion, and I still ate like a high schooler, I gained a ton of weight after high school. I was over 200 pounds easy. I never exercised. I had shortness of breath all the time. But I thought that was normal. You're out of high school and that's what happens. You see it with everybody. Like people gain weight all the time. It's just what you do. And so I just let that be for the longest time. Even though at the same time I started feeling really bad. I didn't have the best self confidence in the world. Um, being overweight, I noticed I had to like wear baggier clothing. The clothing that I used to wear never fit. I just noticed that I was gaining overweight. But I wasn't really ready to do anything about it. I still ate the same. I didn't exercise. I didn't ever think about exercising at all. But I did have this one transformational point in my life that I decided to change. And it all had to do with a television show and my friend. So as I was watching a television with my friend, and we watched this comedy show called How I Met Your Mother. So there was an episode on How I Met Your Mother where a character named Marshall decides that he wants to run a marathon. So the whole episode he's like running day and night, and he ends up breaking his ankle and he couldn't do it, and one of his buddies got in there and ran for him, and he didn't finish it, and it was just funny um, because I think he ended up calling a taxi at the end and driving to the finish line and telling everybody that he ran it. It was hilarious. But my friend looks at me and he says, "Hey," he's like, I don't think that you could even run a mile in under 10 minutes. Like, because we were just laughing at the guy, and I was like, I don't think you can even run a mile in under 10 minutes. And I was like, I look at him and I'm like, I can run a mile in under 10 minutes. In high school, I used to do it in 6. I could do it in under 10. That's like a 4-minute difference. There's no way. And so, we shook on a bet. And we drove to a local high school that we had to the near, because that was the closest track that we had. So what we went ahead and did is he walked through the start line, we set up, and then he looks at me and says, "Okay, are you sure you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, I got it." I was confident that I could do it. So he says, "All right." So I set up on the start line, and he says, "Three, two, one," and he claps and says, "Go." And so I start sprinting. Well, so a mile is 4 laps around a normal track. So that's what I had to do is I had to get in under 10 minutes 4 laps around the track. If I did it in around 3 minutes, I should be in good shape. So I start running and I run the first 100 meters and I'm feeling not very good, but I'm still going. Then I run the second 100 meters of the first lap and I'm starting to gas. I do not feel great at all. And then I'm starting to wind around the 300 meter and I'm running slower than I started at the beginning. And I start running the final 100 of the first lap, and I could not finish it. I have to walk to the finish line of the first lap. And I look at him and I'm like, I can't do it. It took me 4 minutes to run one lap around the track. And I looked at him and I said, "You won the bet." And I told myself, why am I letting myself do this? Like, why am I running? Like, why am I not exercising? This is ridiculous. Like, I'm only in my 20s and I can't even run a mile in under 10 minutes. And I used to be able to do that in high school. I need to change. This can't happen because the older you get, the worse that you're going to get. So I decided from that day on, I am going to change. So what I went ahead and did is I used to go to the track like every other day. And I first started like I would walk a lap, then I would run a lap, then I would walk a lap, and then I would run a lap until I got a mile. And then I started going, I would start running more. Then I would start running 2 laps, then I would walk 2 laps, and I got to 3 laps, and then I got to 4 laps. And then eventually I was able to run a mile, but I still wasn't able to do it in under 10 minutes. So then I would start to do sprints so I can get faster. So eventually I was able to run a mile in 6 minutes. Also, that transitional point in my life, I decided that I needed to learn how to eat healthier. So I would check out books in the library, I would watch movies, documentaries, and learn the things that I could do to put in my body to make sure that I am healthy. So I learned, a lot of it has to do with, fruits and vegetables, lean meats, whole grains. So I started learning how to cook better. And eventually I lost the weight as well as I could run a mile in under 10 minutes. And, today I run a half marathon every year. Usually I ran about 14 miles a week. I also got into CrossFit, and so I do that a lot too. So I also lift weights to build that strength portion as well. So because of that transitional moment in my life that I decided that I needed to change, I was able to change for the better. And now I'm at a healthy weight. I feel great all the time. And I can run a mile. The last time I ran one, I ran it in like 6 minutes and 30 seconds, which is not the fastest time, but I still feel it was a great time for me personally. And I think that's the most important thing, that I'm doing it for myself and I'm making sure that I am a healthy person inside and out. And I'd like to thank you for letting me share this message with you. Thank you and have a great day.